The Lime bike sign, a familiar sound to many, but are we riding them safely, or indeed any type of bicycle? Nearly half of British cyclists are ditching the helmet. And for 13% of them, the reason is purely aesthetic, to avoid a bad hair day, helmet hair as it's known. New data reveals a massive gap in road safety knowledge, with a quarter of riders unaware that the highway code even applies to them. But while the code strongly advises wearing a helmet, it isn't the law, leaving many riders stuck in a straight battle between vanity and safety. Well, joining us now is Emily Cherry, the Chief Executive of the Bikeability Trust. Good evening, Emily.
Hello, good evening.
Half of bike riders not wearing a helmet, that feels... Well, it's dangerous, isn't it, for starters? How do we get to grips with that? How do you solve a problem like that?
Well, I think primarily how you solve a problem with this is more of us take on the wearing helmets, then it will become the norm for everyone. But you were right in your introduction. The highway code is not so clear in this space. It says you should wear a correctly fitted helmet, and that's what we teach children at Bikeability and the adults that we teach as well. But it doesn't say that you must. And there is actually quite a lot of evidence, and this isn't just a cycling story, that there's quite a lot of evidence that car drivers take more risks around cyclists when they're wearing protected headgear. So this is not just a story about vanity and safety. This is also a story about how we support each other on our roads.
Yeah, which is also crazy. I have a friend who lived in Paris for a good deal of time, and she trotted that one off to me, that actually most Parisians don't wear cycle helmets because drivers take more care when there's cyclists not wearing helmets. Which feels a crazy reason. It feels a crazy risk to take.
It really does. And I particularly think about the children that we train. So Bikeability has trained more than 6 million children to date. And we encourage them and support them to wear helmets. But you think about children's and particularly their brains, it's like having a grape inside a walnut shell because their brains are still growing. If you fall off a bike, protective headgear is actually going to help you. But we have a very, very different teenage. I'm a mum of a teenage daughter here as well, who says to me, my hair, absolutely, as you said in your introduction, my other friends won't wear them. I don't want to wear my helmet. We've got to find ways of helping and encouraging people to see this as a cool safety protection gear and get our car drivers to support cyclists on the road.
Yeah, look, I don't know how we do that. We need to make it socially unacceptable not to wear a helmet. And actually, e-scooters are the same. There's, I live in a London suburb. There's plenty of kids knocking around on e-scooters that they've managed to, override the system somehow so that it clicks up or the bicycles do anyway. But they sort of hoot around sometimes. I think it's actually rare to see someone on an e-scooter wearing a helmet, even more so than on a bike, right?
It is, and of course, e-scooters are not yet legal on public roads. The only ones that are legal are in the shared schemes that you see. So if you're in London, in this space, and
are
actually
they the issue
you have
as
to have
well,
a driving
Emily?
license.
Okay,
they are.
Because if I think about the old Boris bikes, they're Santander bikes now in London, but these rental schemes for bikes and scooters, that makes it really hard for someone to have to wear a helmet, doesn't it?
It does. But look, we all want to encourage more people to get back to walking, cycling, whether it's be for your health, for your fitness, or for the climate change and transport decarbonisation. Walking and cycling is a great thing to do. But we do need some more responsibility from some of the shared scheme operators. So currently they're not offering training. You are safer on a cycle if you come through training. And we teach you the things that you can't do, like not riding on the pavements, not skipping red lights, those things that make it very difficult from the perception of cycling.
Look, thank you for being with us. Really appreciate it. Emily Cherry, Chief Executive of the Bikeability Trust.